All right. Part 2. Before we kick the video off, guys, almost 3,000 views in the first day. That is insane. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching and leaving likes and commenting and stuff. That stuff helps so much. And seeing a video perform that well out the gate, it makes me feel good. So thank you. It is that time. Part 2. In the last video, I reviewed 2 recipes out of Greg Doucette's brand new Power 13 cookbook, and I had nothing but positive reviews, aside from a couple little critiques that I mentioned in the previous video. I picked a breakfast recipe and I picked a lunch recipe. In this video, I'm going to be picking a dinner recipe as well as a dessert recipe. Now there's a slight problem. I mentioned in the last video that because I reviewed 2 savory recipes, in this video I was going to review 2 sweet recipes. Until I read the thing. Turns out my big brain didn't really look ahead and notice that there was actually no sweet options to pick from in the dinner section. So in the last video, the 2 recipes that I selected, I loved. They were great recipes. As for the book itself, I really liked how things were laid out. I liked the small details that were included that made navigating it and utilizing it much easier to a consumer who might be new to the anabolic diet or cooking in general. If you haven't watched that last video, go check it out. But in this video, 2 new recipes, 2 new creators, and I will give you my overall determination as to how valuable this book is and if it is worth your $79. I'm really excited for this one, man. I haven't really eaten much today in preparation for what we're gonna make, but it took me way longer than I thought, and it's almost 5 in the afternoon. So we gotta grind today. For any of the new faces out there, welcome. Nice to have you. My name is Ethan. I do diet videos, I do fitness videos, I do vlogs, I do all sorts of fun content. So if you want to be a part of that, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Every ounce of support means the world to me. If you want to stay updated on any future content and get some behind the scenes access, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I will have that link down below. I just got back from Wegmans. I got everything I need, so we're going to dive right into this. I'm done rambling. Let's go make dinner. Time for dinner, boys and girls. Warrior Flank Steak Poutine by Mr. Kinobody himself, Greg O'Gallagher. So out of the 3 recipes I've made so far, this is by far the best smelling. I haven't had steak in so long. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. We got French fries, we got steak, we got cheese, and on top of all that, we also got gravy. I opted to put that on after because I didn't want to make a mess. I wanted to get some cool thumbnail pictures, and I didn't want it to get soggy, you know? Calories and macros for this entire thing will be posted to my left. This makes 2 servings, and this is both of them right here. I'm just gonna have a few bites, pour a little bit of gravy on it, and then put it back in the fridge for later. I'm not gonna portion it out. I just want a few bites because I gotta go make more food later, and I gotta save some room in my stomach. I promise it won't be like last video where I turn the camera off and eat the rest of it. I won't do that, I promise. This recipe was ranked easy on the difficulty scale, and easy it was. Obviously, it's a little tougher for me because I gotta film B-roll and take pictures and stuff like that. What I really like about each recipe is it has a picture, so you can kind of compare it and see if you're pretty on par. And next to each picture, there's an overview that has the nutrition, and it gives you all the times and how long it's going to take to make the recipe. So the prep time itself is 15 minutes, and that's the amount of time you're actually doing stuff, but the recipe itself takes about 65 minutes to complete from front to end. Most of that time is your fries being in the oven. There's also a detailed notes section as well as a Greg's tip section. We all love that. It displays a bunch of potential substitutions or things that you can do different to optimize how fast you cook this thing or to lower the calories. I had no problems putting this recipe together. It was very straightforward, but now it is time for the taste test. I have the gravy sitting on my desk. You guys can't see it. So I'm actually gonna take this forkful. I'm just gonna dunk it in there. Nice. Time for the taste test. Cheers. Crap. When I tell you this is comfort food, that's an understatement. I am so comfy right now. I am 100% making this again. Oh my gosh, dude, having a recipe that incorporates steak is so big to me. I know Remington James, I'm pretty sure he has like a Philly cheesesteak recipe, but it's not really steak. It's like deli meat that tastes like steak. But that is just straight up steak right there. The gravy does wonders for this. It really is a great compliment. If I were to make this recipe myself, like say I invented it, I probably wouldn't have even thought to put gravy on this. Typically, I like to avoid olive oil or any cooking oil for that matter because they're always very dense calorically. In this case, you need to use a little bit for the fries, but man, they make them so crispy. The inside's crunchy, the inside traps a bunch of heat. The salt and pepper seasoning is more than enough. That's all it needs. You don't need butter, you don't need none of that. The combination of everything happening in here is just the definition of comfort food. Absolute banger, dude. Okay, I like to make recipes that are really simple, really quick, so I usually don't go out of my way to try a bunch of recipes unless it's for a video. So what's great about doing these reviews is it incentivizes me to try things I wouldn't have otherwise. When I tell you I'm glad I did, understatement. Last bite, worst bite. If you say otherwise, you're wrong. As good as that recipe is, it needs to be washed down with something. In this case, I'm gonna be using the Thug Jug. What else would I be using? Drink a gallon of water a day, no exceptions to that rule. Cheers. Yeah. So I had just under half of what I made. I didn't use a full serving. I probably had like 3/4 of a serving, and I'm already pretty full. See, I selected this meal in particular because it's not something I would have ever gone out of my way to make. The book incentivized me to try something new, and man, I'm glad I did. I have that at my disposal for the rest of my life. Pretty happy about that. There's also a snack section, which I might do a separate video on in of itself. If you guys want to see that, let me know down below. But it is time for dessert. Let's get it. Okay, so this one takes a little longer because it requires a lot of time spent in the fridge in order to solidify. So it's about 11:30 at night. That's okay though. Oh bro, we got a cheesecake. This channel's finally got a cheesecake on it. The reason I picked this particular recipe to review in the dessert section is because I've seen a lot of cheesecakes floating around the Anabolic community, but for some reason I just never made them. I never tried them. I always looked at them and I was like, oh wow, that's so good, I'm gonna make it. Nope. Never did it. But today we broke that trend. We got ourselves an indulgent lemon berry cheesecake by Bahij Kaddoura. I hope I said your name right. I apologize if I didn't, but it's late. I just want to start eating this. A lot of editing to do tonight. There she be. Now I was only gonna make this a 2-part series, but then it occurred to me that there's an entire snack section. I totally skimmed right over that. So if you guys would like to see me review a recipe or two from the snack section, let me know down below. But guys, without further ado, cheesecake. It is time for cheesecake. Cheers. Oh yeah, phenomenal. It's very good. With this recipe, there are so many different flavors happening. See, it's really difficult to make a recipe and then be willing enough to wait a few hours or even overnight before you can have it. With this kind of recipe, you definitely want to exercise some patience because you'll get a much better result. Calories and macros will be posted to my left. That is for 1 slice. This makes 8 servings. I would likely just eat a quarter of the pie and call that a meal. I think this would make a phenomenal post-workout meal. It's ready, it's prepped. You just pop it out of the fridge and eat it. It's convenient and it's delicious. It's got a lot of protein. It's also got a lot of carbs as a result of the fruit. And I think that's great to have. Now in this recipe's Greg's Tips box, he says if you want to make it more anabolic, use fat-free cream cheese and fat-free ricotta as opposed to low-fat. I did both of those things. And he also said add a whole scoop of protein, and I did that as well. So I got the extra anabolic version of this, and it tastes phenomenal. A lot of people say fat adds flavor, and in most cases that's true. But I feel like with low-fat and non-fat, there might be a really slight difference, but me personally, I never really noticed it. I'm just gonna take the lower calorie, lower fat version because I can eat more. Who doesn't want to just eat more? Banging. As delicious as that recipe was, I think there's a little bit of room for improvement in the crust. I wouldn't just use the crackers and the butter. What I would do is I would make the crust that you see in some of my pies, where it's graham crumb, 0-calorie syrup, and even a scoop of protein. So now the crust has a lot more protein in it. And I think the syrup would bring out a lot of sweetness, a lot of flavor, and I think it would even have a little bit of a better consistency. But I'm not complaining because that is killer. This recipe was a medium on the difficulty scale, and I can definitely see that being the case because it's a little time consuming. You gotta be patient. You gotta wait for it. And on top of that, you gotta mix a couple different ingredients. You gotta layer it. But you know what? Anyone can make it. It's really simple. No, I haven't eaten in a few hours. I'm gonna get another piece. Got it. A little sloppy, but who cares? All right, so overall judgment of the book, here we go. I like how there's difficulty ratings. I like how it kind of forewarns somebody, hey, it's gonna take you this long to make a recipe. I like how there's a notes section and a Greg's tips section to give you alternatives to recipes or certain ingredients in recipes that'll enable you to make it a little lower calorie or let you use a substitute ingredient if you want to change it up to your liking. Like I mentioned, I'm somebody who usually sticks to the same 5 or 6 recipes in my personal life for the sake of convenience. It's quick, it's easy, I'm familiar with it, I know I like it. But that prevents me from wanting to branch out and try things that I wouldn't have otherwise. Like that cheesecake, for example. I've seen a bunch of Remington James cheesecakes. I saw Josh vs. Fitness drop the cheesecake a while back, but I never tried them. Like when I don't try the cheesecakes, but I see them in the video, I'm like, oh wow, those look good. I might make them eventually. But I never do. And yeah, a lot of the recipes in the book, you're not gonna look at and be like, oh my gosh, I wanna make it. That's so worth the money. But there are recipes in there that are worth the money, in my opinion. I think a good way to look at it is if you have a few recipes that you like to stick to, then you will probably find 2, 3, 4 recipes in this book that you're probably gonna put in rotation. Even if you don't touch the other 35 or 40, you'll pull 2 or 3 gems out of there, and then you're gonna make them very frequently. I have a strong feeling I am going to be making that cheesecake very frequently. It doesn't take long to make. I like to put my food in the fridge because I like it a little colder, and I think it's a great thing to prep for post-workout meals. All the creators involved have a brief description of who they are in the book. That way you can familiarize yourself with what that creator has to offer, and that might give you incentive to go check out their YouTube channel or whatever platform that they market themselves on, and that can open you up to even more recipes. Every recipe in the book includes detailed pictures. That way when you're cooking the recipe, you can kind of cite the PDF and be like, oh, am I on the right track? Am I on the wrong track? This doesn't look right. Why is it this color? The notes section and the Greg's tips section gives you a bunch of alternatives if you want to make it even lower calorie, maybe at the cost of a little bit of flavor, but a lot of people just want volume and the taste is just fine for them. You can be an experienced culinary chef with credentials like Nina, or you can be a meathead YouTuber like me, and you can make these recipes just fine, and you will have no problem doing so. There's quick and easy recipes that'll take you 10 minutes, and then there's really difficult recipes that may take you an hour or 2. But that can force somebody to push themselves a little bit more and actually teach them to be a little more comfortable cooking for themselves. Because a lot of people are just gonna DoorDash everything. Like what, are you gonna spend $30 a meal to get Chipotle delivered to you? Or would you make a $60 or $70 investment to get a plethora of high protein, high volume meals that you can make at home that are delicious? Not every meal is gonna be a 10 out of 10. I'm not saying that. The ones I tried, I very much enjoyed, and I picked them out specifically because I thought I would really enjoy them. Like I can definitely open the book and see 4 or 5 recipes where I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Everyone's gonna find like 3 or 4 hitters that they keep in rotation, and you know what? They might not make the rest of them, but that's fine. You added 4 staples to your diet by making this little investment. I don't know, man. I just really like it. I really do. I like how it's formatted. It's very simple. I find it very beneficial, and I tried a bunch of recipes that I wouldn't have done on my own. I really wouldn't have. In my opinion, this book was absolutely worth the money, and I would recommend you guys give it a try if you have the means to do so. Greg, congratulations on your brand new book. To the other 13 creators that were involved, huge congratulations to you. That is such a big opportunity. I know that if Greg took you on, you earned it. After I'm done filming all this, I'm definitely gonna go back in the book and probably make myself a bunch of newer recipes off camera, because I want to get my money's worth. I want to be able to try new things. That's the biggest part, is trying new things, because it's so easy to stay in your comfort zone. And I don't want to eat French toast all the time. I really like it. But that steak with the gravy and the fries, and oh my goodness, dude. I really think that this book has at least a little bit to offer to everybody. Guys, that is it for me. I appreciate you making it this far in the video. If you've not already, please drop a like down below and smash that subscribe button. Ring the bell to be notified when I drop more videos like this, and leave a comment if you got a suggestion for a video in the future. Be on the lookout for a brand new puff that I'm going to be dropping in the next video. So guys, appreciate you making it this far in the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.